Hello, I'm Lisa Tan and welcome to this week's edition of Oxwide. It's a busy programme today, so let's go straight to our first item. And as you're fully aware by now, our flu campaign at Oxleas to get everyone vaccinated is really starting to gather pace. A big thank you to everyone who's been jabbed so far. But we've still got a long way to go to reach our target, so next week will be our first Jabathon, where our flu team will be out and about everywhere across the Trust to get as many of you vaccinated as possible. To mark the first of our Jabathons, we've recorded a special song with the Vox Choir, providing the backing track for us. So enjoy.
Everybody please come to fighting. The jab is quick as lightning. We know it's a little bit frightening, but it really is the right thing. It's been crazy COVID times for us and everyone, but if we get through too, it really won't be fun. Before the spreading starts, we always play our part, and it won't make you sick. It's just a teeny prick. Everybody please come to fighting. The jab is quick as lightning. We know it's a little bit frightening, but it really is the right thing. They say the jab can make you ill, but that really isn't true. What makes you sicker than you think is having natural flu. It will make you really ill and close around you too. So come and get the jab right now together we'll fight through. Everybody please come to fighting. The jab is quick as lightning. We know it's a little bit frightening, but it really is the right thing.
Well, that's definitely the best flu performance I've ever seen or heard. And thanks so much to everyone for helping to make the song such a fun production, and especially Kerry for all the clips that she filmed for us. Now for something a little different. Did you know we all need to stop trying to be happy? That's according to Dr Rafael Euba in his new book, You're Not Meant to Be Happy, So Stop Trying. We met with Rafa recently to ask him about his book and learn what this revelation actually means. We haven't got time to show you the whole film now, but here's a short clip. Thank you for making time for us today, Rafa. Could you start by just introducing yourself and telling us who you are?
My name is Rafael Euba. I'm a consultant here in Oxleas in all-day psychiatry, and I do auxiliary at the Memorial Hospital and the ECT and RTMS clinics in Queen Mary's Hospital. I've been in Oxleas for a very long time, and today is my last day at work, actually.
Oh, well, it's sad to see you go. But we're here today to talk about your book. And I must admit, I was a bit taken aback by the title when I read it. You're Not Meant to Be Happy, So Stop Trying. Mm-hmm. Which was a bit upsetting for me. But can you explain to us what it's about?
I can see how some people may find the title a bit depressing. In fact, it's provocative on purpose. But essentially, the message of the book is that we are not, as a human species, as human beings, we are not really designed, so to speak, if that's the right word. We are not designed to be happy. Happiness is an abstract concept, something that only exists in our minds as an abstract idea. But it has nothing to do with actual human existence And it certainly has nothing to do with the workings of our brain. It is, as I say, just an abstract thing. Nature, if anything, wants us to be forever anxious and forever unsatisfied and forever on our toes, in order to be and to remain aware of any potential threats out there. So a state of happiness is not a natural thing. And to pursue happiness as a goal is like chasing a ghost. We are never going to get there. And I think the idea that we've been sold through self-help books and inspirational leaders and so on, that if only we do this and that and the other, we'll be happy one day, is counterproductive in the sense that I think it makes people feel, if anything, more inadequate and more of a failure, really, if they keep trying and never get there. And they will, because it's, as I said, it's like chasing a ghost. The 10 trillion nerve connections in our brains do a lot of things. They smell a rose, they plan the cooking of a dish, they love, they remember a summer's day, they plot, they feel fear, they resolve a puzzle, they sing. They do all these things and many more, but they don't know how to make us happy.
How do you come to terms with the fact that happiness is not the goal? What sorts of things could you...
Well, through self-compassion and acceptance and so on, and also, empathy and sympathy and compassion towards others. Mind you, compassion, as I explain in the book, actually compassion is a type of suffering. Etymologically, it means suffering with. But still, I think, if one is able to transcend yourself to others and that kind of thing, one may end up being in a place where acceptance of your own feelings and your own difficult emotions and so on becomes less of a torture than it would be otherwise. It's not really a self-help book. And in fact, if anything, I dedicate a whole chapter to criticize self-help books. so that's not what I write about mainly. But of course, there are coping mechanisms, and psychotherapy is very helpful on occasions, and so on. And those things will help us cope with the things that life throw at us quite regularly. But as I said earlier, the important thing is not to believe this propaganda we get in popular culture, mainly that if we believe in ourselves, etc., we'll reach a state of psychological bliss in which we can stay indefinitely. That's simply not the case. That's simply not true.
So what sorts of people would find the book really interesting, really helpful? Who would you think it's for?
Well, I had feedback from a person recently, actually somebody who works in the trust, that I found very encouraging, actually, because she sent me an email saying, gosh, this I found it really comforting because I thought I was doing something wrong. I keep reading books to try to make me feel happier, and I never realized that that's the wrong approach, really. So she found the book comforting, actually, which is good. I mean, other than that, I suppose it's a bit of an intellectual exercise to think about these things. And I want to believe that the book is quite readable, actually. So it's not a task to read it, I think.
So you've been at Oxleas for 23 years now, and today is your
last day.
Last day, so you're actually leaving us.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the last 23 years and how you found it.
Well, I started here at the Memorial Hospital all those years ago, and things were very different then. I have always been primarily an old age psychiatrist here in Greenwich, and gosh, what to say? I've done everything in old age psychiatry: community work, memory clinics, this continuing care ward, DCT, and whatnot. I've done a lot of things, and on calls, of course, horrible on calls. And it's been a substantial part of my life, really. Which is, I think I'm going to miss. On the other hand, it was stressful at times, inevitably. I mean, that happens in every professional career. And I suppose I'm also looking forward to having a bit of a rest after all this time.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rafa, and congratulations on your well-earned retirement. You can watch the whole interview on the Ox, our website and social media channels. And if you do fancy picking up the book called You're Not Meant to Be Happy, So Stop Trying, just search for it on Amazon and you can get it there in either paperback or as a digital download. I've read it and it's a fascinating read. Okay, a couple of weeks back was International AHP's Day, a day to celebrate the work of our allied health professionals. And we really pushed the boat out. Well, it was a van actually. We sent out our intrepid filmmaker Guy to record the day. And this is how it went.
Felicity, I'm a podiatrist at Oxleas and I'm one of the AHP preceptorship leads.
Hi, I'm Hannah, I'm a physiotherapist and I'm also a preceptorship lead.
Hi, I'm Anna, I'm an occupational therapist and I'm also one of the preceptorship leads.
Hi there, I'm Ronnie Wilson, Chief Executive of First Step Trust, a registered charity that's been commissioned today to bring Owen for the AHP Day. And Owen's actually being used to develop projects for people with mental health problems and their disadvantages. Some of the people are referred by Oxleas and other NHS trusts, and the whole ambition is to develop opportunities for people to do real work and develop real skills and real employability. So I'd like to say thank you very much to the team here at Oxleas for letting us do this. Thank you.
And we'll be coming out to sites today to celebrate AHPs for International AHP Day.
With Owen and loads of cake.
Loads of cake.
So, happy AHP Day!
Lovely to see so many people around here today, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to highlight one of our lovely members of staff, Helen, who we thought did an amazing job this year, particularly through COVID. And she literally was just stepped up, and we had lots of vacancies in our team. And I just wanted to present you with a little award, Helen. Sorry, there's a little certificate in there for you.
I'll take it out.
You take it out. I can take it out. That's fine. So, Helen, congratulations. Dietitian of the year.
Not many of that.
Are you ready?
Congratulations to Oxley's House for their fantastic work. They're here 24/7 through the pandemic, every single day. They've been amazing, absolutely amazing for all their wonderful work. And we want to say a huge thank you to Jahanga and the team. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Holly, I'm Head of Physiotherapy. It's International AHP Day today, so we're going around all of our sites to say thank you to all of the AHPs for all the hard work that they've done throughout the year, particularly a really difficult year. So thank you and enjoy the cake.
Thanks, Holly. I'm Catherine, I'm Head of Podiatry and I'm the AHP lead for the Physical Health Directorate. So as Holly said, we're celebrating AHPs today and the amazing work they do every day, particularly over the last 18 months with the COVID pandemic. It's been a great day so far. We're all out celebrating. As everyone said, the cake is tasty, so when it comes to your turn, make sure you grab some, and I'll pass you over to Patsy.
Hello and a very warm welcome to International AHP's Day, 4th year running. My name is Patsy Fung and I'm the Trust Lead for Allied Health Professionals and the Head of Occupational Therapy. This year we are celebrating in a very special way with our colleagues from First Step Trust and with Owen, our vehicle behind us. It's an opportunity to say thank you to all of our amazing AHPs for their fantastic work over the last 18 months providing clinical care to our service users throughout the pandemic. We want to say a huge thanks to you all for your fantastic support and also celebrate with our cake and also with an AHP's Team of the Year. So we've got one for dietetics, one for occupational therapy, speech and language therapy, podiatry and physiotherapy. We're coming to you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again to everyone involved in that film. It looked like a great day. Now, this week is International Fraud Awareness Week, and fraud is estimated to cost the NHS more than a staggering £1 billion each year. I spoke to our own counter-fraud specialist, Jack Stapleton, who had some valuable advice on fraud prevention. So thanks for joining us, Jack. If you could just tell us what your name is, where you're from, and the job that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, so lovely to speak to you today. My name's Jack Stapleton. I'm from KPMG, but I'm the nominated counter-fraud specialist for Oxleas. So that means my role is really about three things. So I raise awareness of fraud at Oxleas. I help the trust kind of mitigate fraud risks and look at process controls around that. But also, if there's any allegations of fraud at the trust, I will investigate those on behalf of the trust.
So, how does fraud affect the NHS?
So, fraud has a huge impact on the NHS. In 2019, the NHS Counter-Fraud Authority estimated that the financial impact on the NHS from fraud was £1.29 billion, which is obviously a huge number. That's enough to fund, I think, about 40,000 frontline nurses, or even to pay for about 5,000 ambulances. So fraud has a huge impact on the NHS.
And what are the most common types of fraud in the NHS?
So there's probably three types that are quite common. Firstly, and colleagues might have heard of this across Oxleas, it's called working while sick. And that's when an individual is taking sick leave from one trust from a substantive post, for example, but then might be working on the bank or at an agency at another trust. And the reason why this is so prolific within the NHS is because it's so hard to detect. Like, it's really hard for fraud teams like myself. Every trust will have a fraud team. It's really hard for us to detect that proactively, and we're really reliant on colleagues across the trust letting us know if they've got any suspicions or concerns about anyone they think might be working elsewhere whilst they're sick. The second most common type of fraud in the NHS is what's called fraud by abusive position, and we most commonly see this in mainly in procurement, particularly where there's kind of large value items being procured. So, for example, over the summer, a IT manager from a trust in Essex was sentenced to 5 years in prison for defrauding his trust of £800,000 by not declaring conflicts he had in a procurement that was underway at that trust. And finally, the third, probably most prolific fraud that we see in the NHS is one that we're probably all very familiar with and affects us all in our personal lives as well, and is around cyber security and cyber risk. So it's all of those emails that we all get with that suspicious link on it and clicking on those. And luckily, these are much rarer now than they were a few years ago, but I'm sure we'll all remember back in 2017, the WannaCry attack, and how the NHS was basically held to ransom through cyber fraud. But those are kind of the three most prolific types of fraud that we see in the NHS.
I'm astonished about the first one that you spoke about, that people actually have a full-time job in one trust and then they might work for an agency or on bank in another trust whilst they're off sick from their substantive post. That's incredible. I would have thought why is that so hard to detect? Because it's to do with the way that payroll systems between different trusts talk to each other. So there is one way that can help us detect it, and it's called the National Fraud Initiative. That's run by the Cabinet Office. And basically every 2 years, every public sector organisation, including NHS trusts, will submit their payroll data to the Cabinet Office, who will run some matching exercises. And that might flag up exceptions that might highlight if someone has a substantive contract at one trust, but has worked a lot of hours at another trust. And that's when we can look into those exceptions to see if someone's working while sick. But because that only includes public sector organisations, that data matching exercise doesn't include private agencies. So that's why it's really hard for us to detect it. And we're really reliant on colleagues, if they're seeing anything suspicious or anything like that, then to get in touch with us and let us know so we can investigate it and make sure we're protecting those funds that ultimately are for patient care. And if anyone needs to get in touch with you, they've got any questions or concerns, or they want to report something, how do they go about that? There's two ways colleagues can report any concerns. Firstly, if they'd like to do so anonymously,
they can do so via the NHS Counter Fraud Authority website. And that's really easy to find. If you Google NHS fraud, it's the first thing that comes up. And there's an online form and a number that you can call and report any concerns that you might have. Secondly, if colleagues are happy to do so, you can come directly to me and my team. So my details are on the Ox. There'll also be in a lot of the communications that you'll see over the next kind of couple of weeks as we approach Fraud Awareness Week. And if you have any questions or concerns, do get in touch with me and I'll be happy to help and take those forward.
Lovely. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you to Jack. And if you want to find out more about how we can all fight fraud and prevent our NHS from being denied valuable funds from criminal behaviour, check out our counter fraud page on the Ox. That's all we have time for this week, but don't forget to keep checking the Ox for all the latest news, including our flu Jabathon and also the latest on COVID, which of course hasn't gone away. And don't forget to drop us a line at the usual address if you'd like to be involved in one of our Oxwides. But until next time, goodbye.